Good morning, and welcome to Monument Valley Day. It's a Sunday. As I said yesterday, all the tours for Monument Valley have been booked solid for the day. So here I am at 8:20 in the morning, rocketing down toward the valley itself, where I'm going to try and snag a tour under the hopes that somebody, somewhere, has canceled. My stay last night at Fire Tree was phenomenal. I slept like a baby for 8 hours, and I never sleep for 8 hours. The cats were cute. The service was great. They gave me some pretty strong coffee and some cake of some kind this morning, and that was wonderful. And I got to climb up on top of the mesa and just sit there and drink my coffee and look out over that part of the valley. It was nice. It was a very nice way to watch the sunrise. I highly recommend anybody that's coming out here to visit Monument Valley, give them a try. Check them out because they were fantastic. They really were. Jackpot. Shows that with a little pluck and a little willingness to beg, they'll make space for you. Oh yeah, that and probably overpaying for the tour. Here's Monument Valley from the Visitor Center. The tour I got is going to take me back into areas you can't access publicly. So we'll see what's over there. I think it's going to be really cool. Also, unlike most places I've traveled recently, they are actually quite adamant about the masks. So that's the Sentinel Mesa. The little guy sticking off the end is the big chief. You can see a few more in the background, including the king on his throne, which is the one sort of highlighted in the middle of the cleft there. This guy is the West Mitten, with its partner over there, the East Mitten, and then finally, Merritt Butte, which I find very relevant because I like going to the Merritt coffee shop in Austin. This is the first stop on the long Navajo tour, so I think it's time to try and get at least one selfie. Another interesting piece of info is just how much this straddles the state line between Arizona and Utah. For instance, I'm in Arizona right now. All those buttes are in Utah. And actually, my run yesterday took me from the inn, which was in Utah, down across the Arizona border and back, and I didn't even notice. So, yeah, this really is kind of an interstate place. Hey, guys. Yeah, I'm real glad I didn't try taking the Tesla up this. So there's John Ford Point. Epic selfie stop, as well as the place where they filmed several movies. That's Elephant Butte. That's Camel Butte, facing toward us, so you can't see the camelness of it. And that is the Rain God Mesa, the source of all my troubles, apparently. I need to go slap it or something. Those are the Three Sisters, for obvious reasons. And that is the Navajo fry bread stand, which is closed right now, and that's really disappointing to me because I don't know where else I'm going to get to try it. Well, aren't you pretty? Come say hi. Ooh, hello. I love cats. Oh, and your buddy skulking around. Also, the Jeep with the no restroom sign has to have a story behind it. Yeah, this is quite the view. So this one is Sleeping Dragon. That's his head, and this is his body. And that's where he does his business. And over here, they call this one Big Indian. You can see his head up on top, and it's sort of aligned, like a guy sitting down with his hands on his legs. You can see his bandana up there and his face, sort of. Also, this part right here, right underneath his head, looks like wings, and for that reason, they call this the Thunderbird Mesa. Yeah, we're out a little ways beyond where the normal driving tour can get you. So these are premium monument
Indians.
Well, this is familiar. Actually, apparently it's pronounced hogan rather than hogan, so I've been saying it wrong. Alright, we're pretty remote out here. That is called the totem pole. I think it's easy to imagine why. It looks really skinny, but according to the guide, it's actually about the length of a truck on top. So, plenty of space to sit up there and enjoy the sunset, and then try and figure out how to get back down. So they call this guy Big Hogan, and I can see why. Also, it was interesting listening to the lady inside the small hogan talking about the various plants that are required for dyeing the Navajo rugs and how they have to come from all sorts of different climates. So that tells of what must have been a pretty robust trade network back in the day to get all of those things into this area.
Without hands. There you go. Thank you. Thank you.
Look at this thing. I don't know if it has a name, but it looks a lot like an anvil. Or a skull. And here's the moccasin arch. This one looks a little bit more like the kinds from arches. There's just a faint hint of flute music in the background. Perfect ambiance. Okay, one more. The sun's eye. It does look a lot like an eye. More importantly, here's some petroglyphs. Look at this giant green scorpion. He doesn't look very active, but he is huge.
Yeah, it's big, Tranquilla.
That's the first big one I've seen since I got out here. According to the guide, these petroglyphs were used to get ready for a hunt. If you look at these goats, they have arrows in them, whereas these running ones don't. Apparently there was a sweat lodge here, and now you can just sort of see that one wall still standing after these rocks came down. And they would all get together in the sweat lodge, and they would mix their sweat lodge water with sage, so that way they would smell like sage during the hunt, and the goats wouldn't be able to smell them. So you've seen Eye of the Sun. Now we have Ear of the Wind. Constructing a whole head out here. So now I'm here at Golding's Trading Post, about to eat a Navajo taco. That didn't last. Welcome to Forrest Gump Point. This is the place where, in the movie Forrest Gump, he finished his 3 years plus of running. Speaking of which, today marks my 1 month anniversary on the trail. Pretty tired. Think I'll go home now. Just kidding. This evening's destination is Mesa Verde, which is the most complete Native American ruins in the United States, as far as I can tell. I have to detour north to Blanding in order to get enough charge to get over there, though. So this is actually going to be a little bit more driving than it would be in a gas car. On the plus side, with all this elevation, having that regenerative braking has been an absolute godsend. So the dinosaur museum that I initially wanted to visit here is closed on Sundays. Fortunately, Blanding has another museum which is particularly relevant to this part of the trip. The Edge of the Cedars Park Museum. Well, would you look at that? An actual Clovis point. And here is a 2,000-year-old digging stick associated with early maize farming communities in the area. It's amazing that this thing is still around. Look at these sandals, primarily made from yucca. These are hundreds of years old. And honestly, probably in better condition than my sandals. These are the leftovers of the components of a loom.
from the actual Pueblo period. Well, Pueblo 2 and Pueblo 3, so before 1250. That looks like most of it. Incredible. That's a blanket fragment and a basket fragment from early basket makers, which is some 300 BC to 300 AD. And look at that corn. So if you feel like throwing out that popcorn in your pantry, it lasts. Now here are artifacts from the Pueblo 1 period, which is a little more relevant to what we're looking at. Starting around 750, the Pueblo peoples moved into this area. These over here are especially relevant. Pueblo 3 from 1150 to 1300. That's about the era the ruin we're about to see came from. Look at this dog hair rope. This, arrowheads bound together with yucca cordage. This would have been basically an ammo belt for repairing your arrows. Ooh, an atlatl and an atlatl dart. Basically the leveraged precursor to the bow and arrow. Folsom point and bits of a Clovis point. Ancient arrowheads, and yet look at the craftsmanship. Incredible.
Out back of the museum is the edge of the Cedars State Park, centering on a large Pueblo great house. Occupation lasted from about 850 to sometime in the late 1200s on and off. This building itself was built sometime in the thousands and abandoned for the first time around 1150, reoccupied in 1215, and then abandoned again shortly after. This big pit here is an unexcavated site which it's thought once held a great kiva. And the actual great house itself would have been 2 or even more stories tall. It's hard to tell based on what's left. It looks like this ladder is modern. Oh, look. They're gonna let me inside. Wow. An excavated kiva. Complete with a floor vault. So apparently it's a kiva if it uses these stone or plaster pillars to support the wood on the roof. And see, this wood stacking is very familiar from the hogans earlier. Whereas it's a pit house if it uses some other mechanism. But wow, look, you can see all of the stacked stones and the plaster still around them. The people that put this here had never heard this language. They'd never seen a European. Alright. Well, now that my appetite has been thoroughly whetted, it's time to get on the road, head to Mesa Verde. Consensus says that these sites were abandoned around 1250, primarily because population growth led to strains on resources. Then a series of droughts crippled the local economy, forced people to move. Modern Pueblo cultures seem to indicate that a lot of these migrations were voluntary, that it was simply time to move on. So I know it's been bent through centuries and, some amount of trying to make themselves look good, but I wonder which reason really makes more sense. Maybe a little of both. Guess we'll see what they have to say at the actual national park dedicated to this. But I don't know. I think it's going to stay open to interpretation for a very long time. Welcome to colorful Colorado. I'm only going to be here for a couple days, and only in this one little southwest corner. But still, one more state to add to the list. This, I think, this is actually going to be the last state I add to the list, because between here and the end of the journey, I'll be passing only through places that I've been before on this trip. Because it's just going to be New Mexico and then Texas. So yeah, starting to wrap things up. And look out there. Mountains with actual snow on top. That's real Colorado. Well, I'm in Mesa Verde National Park. Just in time, too, because that sun is setting fast. It's kind of sad to me that views like this have become so normal that I almost don't remark them. Going back to a flat place like Texas is going to be so disappointing. On the flip side, look at the colors of that sunset. Oh, it's just breathtaking. Oh, hell, go away. Well, I see lightning over there. I'm about 3 minutes out from the lodge, and there is lightning to the north of me, lightning to the south of me, lightning around me, volleyed and thundered. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna call it a night and go work out, and then tomorrow morning we're gonna go hike some Native American ruins, the likes of which we have not seen this whole trip.